This review is presented by EVDANCE.
GR Yaris 2025. Been living with this car for a week now. Been driving it a lot before, on track on Circuit de la Quai in France when it was introduced. Phenomenal little car. When it came in 2020, everyone was extremely hyped about it. And when they got it, well, everyone was vivid of talking about its performance, its handling, how fun it is. And for good reasons. This is a small car that sits a little in its own spot. It competes with a bit stronger and more performance-orientated cars in a bit higher league. And that's why I wanted to drive this car again, live with it, push it a bit, and feel how it is compared to, let's say, the Civic Type R, the F05, and the latest Audi RS3, which I also really liked. This one is a little different because it feels like if you want to have fun, you really need to almost rip it apart. And that is something about the slogan that gazooracing expressed. Thanks for breaking it. And that expression was aimed to all the rally drivers that really pushed it to its very limit to break it so they could improve it and make all these bits and pieces better again. And that is something that they showed us when we were at Circuit de la Quai. They put up on display all of these parts that were broken and which they said are now improved. And that can now withstand a lot more punishment. And that is very much Toyota in its core. Quality products, a car that can last. And this one, well, it's supposed to last even more in the toughest of conditions and in the hands of the most gruesome sporty drivers. And isn't that just great? So you can drift this one, but you really need to be really aggressive here as well, as in the RS3. In this one, well, we got the manual gearbox. You can get an automatic. I didn't really like that one. It was fairly quick, but this car is almost born to have the manual gearbox. And it's just a delicate piece of gearbox, this one. It's short in its throws, but yet, you know, a bit mechanical and a little tough. So it just lines up with the way that you need to drive this one. Really aggressive and hard. And living with it day to day, driving it comfortably, it isn't that comfortable. It is loud, it just sounds a lot, and you know, it's almost brand new. You can feel that clutch, the smell from the clutch, even though you play along with it very nicely. So it is a sports car in the way it is set up, and that's just the way you need to handle it if you buy one of these. So a lot of things has improved here. If you start off with the power, it's gone up from 261 horsepower to 280 horsepower. Torque has also been lifted up to 390 Newton meters. But you need to rev this car to have most fun. 1.6 liter, 3-cylinder, and 3-cylinder has this great character sound, almost like something isn't right, something is broken. It does sound a little off tune, but when you start flooring it, well, then the tune is just perfect. Very connected, you know, it moves a little from side to side on an uneven road, so it's a short wheelbase, and it's more rally tone over this one. It isn't as compliant, you know, at higher speeds as the F05, the Civic Type R, or the RS3. But that's what makes this car so much fun, because when you start to flick it around, it's very pointy, and it is very controllable, but you need to keep the momentum at all times to make it play along. You can set it in different steps here. You got normal, you got gravel, and you got track. So that gives the differential a different type of setting. Now I'm driving in track and in sport, and that gives 70% to the rear wheels and 30% to the front wheels. And that's the way I like it. The other ones, well, they disperse it in a different way. Depending on if you drive on gravel, well, then you have a little more traction on the front. And you floor it all the way up to 6,500 RPM, and it moves on very well. And it bumps, and it jitters, and it is just alive on the road. To make it even more appealing to all customers in this Gen 2 version, the rally drivers' inputs has been crucial. The inputs that they've given Toyota is that they want to sit a little lower. In a rally car, you sit a little higher to have good visibility all around, and you have in this one, but you sit lower. I remember the Gen 1 was sitting really on top. It felt a bit awkward. I still think that you sit a little too high, but you sit a bit more planted, that's for sure. So you're a bit lower, 25 millimeters. The gearbox has been lifted. This whole panel here has been tilted towards you, so you get a lot more information quicker at a quick hands reach. So the whole posture becomes much sportier and more connected to the drive. The chassis has been stiffened up. There's new welding points that makes it even more stiff, and it just feels, well, very rigid. It's not like you feel that it's wobbly in any situation. Doesn't matter if you get out on a gravel road or a very demanding tarmac or something in between. It is just firm wherever you want, but you can set it loose if you want as well. So we're in the sport mode now. Everything is agile. The steering gets a bit tougher. You get a bit better connection. It's a little more heavy. You can have this I or exclamation mark that is upside down, or it is a IMT. So then you get a little rev match. I like that. Everything is clean here. Very nice look. It feels good in its quality materials. A little plastic, but it feels very Toyota. So it's rugged and nice. Steering wheel is good. Rather thin, which I usually like. Buttons are a little cluttery here, but they work really good. And when you get it into sport, you get this rev meter that is displayed throughout the panel, and then you can set it so you see what type of gear that is being changed into. I like that. Buttons are a bit small for the climate control here, but they feel a bit more solid compared to the Gen 1. Exterior looks a little new as well, in the front and in the rear lights, but the most crucial things from the outside is the aerodynamics that they've worked with. So they let all that air flow past it, also make the mufflers cool down a bit more, and also the engine that gets a bit better cooling. And if you want to cool your intercooler down, well, then you can just spray a little on it, and you can hear that. That is rally, and that is cool. You also got active noise amplification, so you have it off, low, middle, or high. Listen to this. It gets played out in the speakers inside, and that gives you an even more close experience of the sound it expresses from the outside. What do you think of that? I find it rather fun. And you can hear that turbo as it spools up when you let off and get on. I like that. The brakes, they are also very strong. And there is a special feeling having a car that you know you can really push. It's almost a little like a Porsche. You know, you can get it out on the track day in, day out, or every weekend. Go for a track day, and you know that it can take so much beating. This is practically the same with this car. And I think that when driving in sport like this, it takes the road very nice. So you drive fast, then it feels comfortable, but when relaxing in it, getting over some speed bumps and sewer lids and a road that isn't too even, then yeah, you can feel it through the chassis. But that's presence, and isn't that what you want? Well, it's quick. It's not like you get scared in any way. because it feels controllable. When getting at higher speeds on some even roads, well, then you just need to be sharp because it, you know, it bounces around a little. But still, this is a lot more stiffened up from the Gen 1, and you can feel that. But that's also the thrill about a car like this. You should feel that way. It should feel a little old school and not too calm and sophisticated. This should be a small, hardcore car. That's what's fun about it. Consumption is a little around a liter. I think you can drive it a little lower than that if you want. This is the EVDANCE portable charger. Very sturdy, very easy to use. Just plug it in, 220, 240 volts socket, and off you go. You get 3.68 kilowatts of charging power. So this new one, it only comes with the circuit pack, you know, intercooler, spray, these rims, those better brakes, the carbon fiber roof. The Gen 1, well, it cost a little under $500,000 when it was released. This one, 643,000, so it's a bit of a step, and that is rather expensive for a small car this size, but still, this has become so popular that people will save up to get this one because they want to have fun, they want to have something that can take the beating and that is reliable, and that is what Toyota stands for. And when it comes to rally, well, it has done a lot of success there. And knowing that you take that much hands-on expertise from the rally drivers, implementing it here, and as I was shown, the pieces and bits that were torn apart from real hardcore testing in rally, well, it really proves that they want to improve. And that makes you as a customer easy at heart, reassured that everything is perfect and that you have a product that is meant for something, and that is going quick and having fun. Considering its price, I think it's a little too expensive. If I compare it to the RS3 that I drove just a couple of weeks ago with that beautiful 5-cylinder engine, this has a 3-cylinder, so it's uneven in that way, and it makes these characterful sounds. But I like the 5-cylinder a little more, and the approach that Audi has, being a bit more mature, but at the same time just as cheeky, with even more power, a little bigger, and just a little more comfortable. But still a super rocket in its compact size, making me want that one a little more. This is more youthful in some way. It's more cheeky when you really want it to be cheeky, and it works so much better on all type of surfaces. And it's just a blast setting it on a gravel road, in the snow, or on extremely tight mountain roads. The latest Civic Type R is magnificent. It's only front-wheel drive, but it still just ignites a feeling in you, feeling like a STCC driver or something like that. It is that planted and that nice. Also an expensive car. You need to compare it to that one, because this one, it sits once again in its own space. There are not that many competitors that are as hardcore in this small class, and I think that has a price. But if you're dead set on having a pocket rocket, as it's called, then this one, well, it's hard to beat.